Alright, this is my Draw My Life video. Just so you know, my name's not actually Tinkerbell. Andrea. Da-da-da-da! Alright, so let's get started. Learn about my life. Alright, so here's my mom and my dad. He wanted to get that ass. He tried really hard too. But she kept saying no. She didn't want none of that. But he just was so persistent. He kept trying until she finally said yes. And so, in case you didn't know how or where babies came from, here you go. This is how babies are made. This was me. Which I really shouldn't admit that with the writing that I did next to it. A few weeks later, she found out she was pregnant, and she was really sad because she already had 2 kids by a different guy because she's stupid. But yeah, she found out she was pregnant. Sorry. She told my dad, and he didn't want anything to do with us because he already had 3 kids of his own, so he's out of here. I was in and out of jail throughout my whole life, even my incubation period. She was all pregnant all by herself, had nobody with her, until she started dating some guy named Russell. Then on December 7th of 1995, I was born in the middle of a snowstorm. Woohoo! Good snow! The only day that's ever snowed on my birthday. She really badly wanted an epidural, because it was killing her pretty much. It was tearing that shit up. And she was too far into labor to get it, so the doctor wouldn't let her have any, and she was really, really mad. And at some point, either night or in the morning, I think it was nighttime, I think it was like 10:30 or something, a little baby girl was born. Yay, a little black-headed baby girl. I don't really know much about when I was a baby because my mom was always at work. She was never at home with us because she had to make a life for us. So, that involved being at work throughout the whole period that I was growing up. And then she worked so hard that she threw her back out. She couldn't work, and she couldn't earn money, and she couldn't take care of us anymore. And so me and my sister and my brother all got sent off to live with some family members. And so we got separated, and I went to live with my uncle, and they went to go live with their grandma, and we both hated it. We didn't want to live with them. We wanted to live with our mom, because we loved our mom. And then my mom came to pick me up and take me home. But she also had to pick my brother and my sister up at the same time. And she couldn't be in 2 places at once. So she ran out of time because she came to get me instead of them. And I was really sad because I didn't get to have my brother and my sister with me when I went home with my mom. And they were really mad because they thought that she didn't want them and she was just trying to leave them there because she only wanted me. And then it was just me and my mom against the world. She was really sad because she wanted all her kids to be facing the world with her. But I was really happy because it was just me and my mommy. And I really loved my mom. She was my hero when I was younger. She meant everything to me. She was my strength. And then, for a long time, we lived in Floyd County. So she could still see my brother and my sister, and so I could still see them, and it was just easier. And then we moved to Franklin County, where life sucked, because Franklin County sucks. No offense. And we lived in a nice house, pretty big. It's a big old white farmhouse with a bunch of cows next to it. Always smelled like shit. And then, a few years later, my brother came down. Moved down to Franklin County from Floyd to be with us, and we were all really, really happy because we finally had our brother, and she finally had her son, and he finally had everybody, except for my sister. We were all really happy, except me and my brother didn't like each other. We actually really hated each other. We fought all the time. Didn't matter what it was about. We'd been known to get in fights over chicken wings. And my mom always sided with my brother, even though he was the one who usually started the fight. But she always sided with him because her dream was for it to be just her and him forever. She just wanted her son. She'll deny it, but she knows deep down that it's true. And then me, my brother, and my mom all moved into this new trailer. It was really nice. It was a 3-bedroom trailer, but it was too small for us because we didn't want to be around each other because we really didn't like each other. We actually hated each other. And then I started middle school, and I hated it because I was small and short and I couldn't say words right. I used to have trouble with my letter R. And so any word that had the R in it, I couldn't say it right, it'd come out wrong. And everybody used to pick on me for it, and they picked on me because I was short, and they just made me feel really, really bad about myself. And so my self-esteem dropped. It hit really low levels, and I would wear coats to school in the middle of summer so people wouldn't see my stomach because I thought I was fat. Or I wouldn't really do anything. I wouldn't raise my hand in class because I didn't want people to look at me. And then I'd be wrong and they laugh at me because I was wrong. I was very high into people's opinions. And every time I saw somebody in the hallway that had something better than what I could afford, I always felt bad. I felt really small compared to them because they could get anything that they wanted. All they had to do was look at their mom or their dad and say, "Hey, can I have it?" They could have it. When I was lucky I had the shoes I was in, much less the things that I wanted in life. I never got to play any sports because we couldn't afford the practice or equipment or outfits. I wanted to, though. And then in 7th grade, things turned around a little bit. And this isn't how it happened, but a boy named Sean asked me out. What really happened was I stood up on my bus because his bus was sitting right next to mine, and I screamed at him through a window. And he stood up and he stuck his head out the window and asked me out. I said, "Sure, why not? But if you break my heart, I'm going to kick your ass." He's like, "Okay, I promise I won't break your heart." And then we were a thing. We were the it thing. And he always said, "I love you," and I refused to say it back. I would tell him to shut up, or I'd be like, "Stop," and I'd get really red. And so one day in the middle of lunch, he stood up and just shouted it at the top of his lungs. And my face got so red. It was awful. It looked like a tomato. But then we broke up. He didn't do anything bad or anything. We just decided we were better off as friends. And then when I was in 8th grade, I went to go visit Floyd County. Met a boy named Jeff. Fell in love with him. Decided that I was finally ready. Didn't notice that I was feeding his hunger. I gave him exactly what he wanted. I was young and I was naive. And I thought he really loved me, and I knew I loved him. But I was wrong. And my mom found out that happened. And she was really mad. Told me I was never allowed to go to Floyd again. And he didn't care. It took me a while to stop caring about him and to just let him go. It took me a long time. But I got over it because I don't deserve it. Nobody deserves somebody to use them. And so then, throughout middle school and high school, I wasn't in love with my best friend Billy, but I had a massive crush on him. He was everything to me, and I was all drooling and all, ooh, he's amazing. He just thought I was weird because, I'm just, a random friend that's sitting here drooling over him. But we dated throughout high school and middle school. It didn't really ever work out. We ended up fighting a lot and not being friends, and then being friends. And now we don't talk anymore, and now we're nothing. It's like we're strangers again. But it happens. And then, in my second semester of 10th grade, I moved to Floyd because my mom got married to a man who was an awful person. He was a jerk, and he treated everyone badly, especially her. And I was tired of it. I didn't want to be with her or him, and I told her that. I was like, if I come back and he's here, I'm leaving again. And so, I moved in with my sister. And we were all really, really happy. And even though Jamie over here isn't looking too happy, he was happy. He enjoyed having us around. We kept him busy. But then, over summer, I decided I didn't want to live in Florida anymore because I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like an outcast, and it didn't feel like home to me. So I went back to Franklin County. And I may not have liked living with my mom again, but I was happy I was back with all my friends and all the people that I really loved. It didn't feel right either, but certain things kept me there. Like this person. I met him at the fair. His initials are DT. Fell in love with this boy. He was the biggest reason why I stayed in Franklin County for so long after I came back. Otherwise, I would have moved back. We went to the lake for our first date. It was like midnight, so no one was there. He was a lot older than me. Well, not a lot, but he was a good amount older than me. But I didn't care. I didn't think that it really mattered to me, and it really doesn't. If you love somebody, you love them because they did something to make an impact on you. It shouldn't matter how old they are or the kind of person that they are. As long as they're not like a mass murderer or nothing. But I mean, everybody has a type. I didn't fall in love with him. I took a deep breath and I jumped right on in. I didn't want to be in love with anyone else. I didn't want to be with anyone else. Never felt as good with anyone as I did with him. Then my mom found out that we were together after 6 months with him. She apparently has no perception to anything. She told me I could never be with him because he was a sicko, which he wasn't. She freaked out and told me I could never be with him, told me I had to break up with him. She didn't understand the fact that I really did love him. I was in love with him. And then we got evicted from our apartment, and she moved back in with her husband because they were fighting and we moved out. And so she moved back, and I refused. I told her I wouldn't live with him ever again. So I moved in with my cousin, and I continued to see DT. Fell more in love with him every day. It made me so happy. But then things happened with me and my cousin, and she just had to open her mouth. And she told my mom. And my mom told me that I had a choice between whether or not something bad would happen. Either I moved in with her, and she got him into a lot of trouble, or I moved away, and I never saw him again. And I loved him very much, so I had no real choice on what I was going to do. I had to protect him. So, for the second half of my 11th grade year, I moved from Franklin County back up to Floyd County. And now it's 5 months later, and I'm really sad still because I miss him and I love him. And it's just not the kind of love that goes away. As my new friend Fiona would say, he's my twin flame. Flames always burn brighter when they're put together. It makes me really happy. And she can push and push, but nothing will ever change the way that I feel about this boy. Nothing in this world. Ever. That's the end, finally. I'm sorry it didn't end on a happier note. But hey, it could have ended on a sadder note. Someone could have died. Woo. And now, you know me. Hope you enjoyed my video, and please subscribe to that little red box with the arrow or play symbol, I don't know. But peace out.